we got a really fun one today. Not sure how many of you guys are Harry Potter fans, but my girls definitely are. It's something that we kind of watch as a family. Bo and Buggie decided that they would be funny and challenge Mom to make the Hand of Glory, which is in the Chamber of Secrets Harry Potter movie. So I'll insert a picture now. And now you guys have seen the Hand of Glory. Some of you will remember when Harry Potter says Diagon Alley, and he ends up in that really dark wizard shop. And he gets kind of curious, and there's this hand on the mantle, and he goes to touch it, and it grabs his hand, and he kind of has a struggle. And that is actually referred to as the Hand of Glory. You don't hear about that in the movie, but that's what it is. I know a lot of these supplies look kind of funny, but this is what we're going to work with. So yesterday, Chuck, I had him make me a base, and really pretty wood grain here. And we had some pool noodles that kind of got kinked, but they got kinked in the perfect way. So I think I'm going to use this as kind of our mold for the inside of the wrist that we will put down on the base. And I'll be showing you guys better angles as we go. But if you see that, it kind of looks like the bend of a wrist right in here. So today I am surrounded by the family because they're going to help as much as they can, and the girls always get super excited to watch Mom do stuff like this. I'll insert some pictures here of a vampire diary that I did just off the top of my head a few years back, and the girls absolutely loved it. Super realistic details on it, and it's just part of our Halloween decor. This is going to be our base. We have a really good solid dowel rod here, and I'm going to say it's about 3/4 of an inch. And but a lot of this stuff is like upcycled or recycled materials. So we've done some other projects, and this was kind of the cast off. So I have a feeling, so I showed you guys the wrist and kind of what I'm thinking there, but this I think is what I'm going to use as the knuckle area, which would be, let me see if I can show you guys that angle. Okay, so here's your wrist, and then up here would be your knuckles, and you can see that that one is also kind of bent right here. So I know it's kind of hard to see unless you have that 3D mind. It's kind of hard to see what it's going to look like when it's done, but as we move along, I'll show you, and I'll probably cut off some to form it and mold it and everything. But I am not going to permanently put this down yet because the first thing we're going to do is stain the base. I think I kind of like it. I think after I get some wax on it, it'll be just enough. But for now, that's what we got. Okay, so the next step, this is not completely dry yet, but I think I have a fix for that. So for this part, I'm just going to put it down over that. And this way, airflow can still get to the wood and help the wood to dry. And I can go ahead and start working on the hand.
Einstein's got nothing on you, Bill.
Thank you. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my fingers within the hand and bring them up. And I am going to then use this as the curve of the hand, and then off of that, I'll cut this up like the knuckles and work all of the wire through this, and then I'll start to create my form with paper and cardboard. So here I'm just kind of forming, I'm gonna have 2 pieces of wire run through every finger so it's stronger. So I'm just kind of forming the tip. This is a bit tall, so I'm gonna try to get it within frame. I'm just gonna bring that fingertip to a tight point. Okay, Bo, so when Mom accepted your challenge of making this thing, how did you think I was going to do it?
Well, I was pretty positive there was going to be some wire involved. But pool noodle, I wasn't sure if you were or weren't going to use it. Because you did use it when you made the Dementor.
Uh-huh.
So I was kind of thinking maybe yes or no.
So basically what we've come down to is you have to have pool noodle to make Harry Potter props, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Dementor turned out pretty awesome.
It's built up the numbers.
Yeah, I didn't tell you guys about the Dementor, but I will get a picture of him. So for those of you who don't know what a Dementor is, or aren't a Harry Potter fan and are just curious about what in the world I'm doing today, a Dementor is kind of like a black floating hooded creature, skeleton type thing, and it's a character from Harry Potter. So remember, none of this has been bent, formed, or trimmed. So all of this round edge on this noodle will be cut back to form a smooth hand. And then parts of the front of this noodle here that stick out kind of funny, that'll be trimmed back too. So just keep your mind wide open, because this is kind of the ugly part of creating, and it's always ugly before it's pretty. To kind of give you a view, that's our claw shape. And I'm going to catch you guys up since we time-lapsed a bunch. This is where we're at as far as the base. This is 2 coats. I didn't bring that up to you. You can still see the wood grain, which is what I wanted. And since we did a paint stain, a black paint stain, we can still see the wood grain, but it will darken when I get the wax on there. The base. Here's where we are on the hand. So very, very hard coating. It's still got a little bit of natural squish to like where I put the veins in between the fingers. And I didn't get this part recorded, I'm so sorry, but this is also foam in here. And same as you guys watched me do, I just glued it on. And then as I started to decoupage. This is just tissue paper, and I didn't really care what color. A 2-ply napkin that was torn apart and separated. But I didn't really care about the color because I'm going to paint it anyway. But I did go with, we had some extra birthday purple napkins, and I used that because the colors that we're going to use are going to be those dark shades. So as you can see here, that's the foam. I just didn't get that covered yet. I was so tired last night, and it was Mother's Day, so I went ahead and rested. But here, I've got a foam vein going through. I've got some here. This is foam and this is foam, but there's actually a third wrinkle right here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not, but that's hot glue, just real thick hot glue through there. So that's where we're at on that. So I'm going to bulk up these fingers a little bit more. I want the tips of the fingers to be a little bit bigger so that the nails fit better. And then over here we've got these just cheapy little fake fingernails, and if you can see that, it's not quite wide enough for that thumb, so I'm going to bulk up the tip of that thumb a little bit. I'm also going to be figuring out how to do cuticles because I don't just want it to sit on there. That doesn't look real natural. So I'm either going to use foam or tissue, maybe even hot glue, to build up around that finger. And anyway, this is where we're at, and this is a full 24 hours in. We're back at it. But I think, remember that this started from a challenge from the girls as to whether or not Mom could do this. So I think we're doing okay. I did bulk this area up on the thumb a little bit bigger because in the movie, Harry Potter the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter reaches and grabs for the thumb, and that's when this portion of the hand clasps down over his hand. So I wanted that to be a little bit bigger because the girls like to play with Mom's pieces. So in the movie, it's an electronic prop, and you know that he's not really handling it as roughly as it might actually get handled over the years with these guys. So I did want it a lot more sturdy and grippable. So that's where we're at. So we're going to keep going. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start bulking up the tips of the fingers. Like I said, we'll finish covering the fingers up. And then once everything dries there,
attach the fingernails, and then we'll build up those cuticles around the fingernails.
okay guys, so I have built up the pinky and given it a tip now. The nail is going to fit on it perfectly. So hopefully that'll give me a good solid foundation to glue to, and then to build that cuticle up around. So what you see me doing now is this thinner cardboard. It's just kind of like, I guess you could even call it like the skin of the cardboard. It's very, very thin, very flimsy. But what it's helping me to do is where I have these more geometric finishes. I don't know if you guys can see that straight edge right there on that finger, I think so, right there. What I'm doing is I'm using it to kind of camouflage those away so that when I come back over it with the tissue, it has more of a natural look, more of an organic finish than those straight edges. So I now have one nail on, just trying to finish up this pinky here, and I've constructed the cuticle area right in here out of hot glue, gauze, and then you've got the cardboard tip of the finger, which is foam and cardboard and all of that. But that is finished, and as I paint it, I'll, obviously bring in the definition between the cuticle and the nail. Still moving along the fingers, but I got to thinking about the wedge part of your hand here, and so I built up some hot glue here, like a wedge in the hand, just small, nothing big, and I think I'm going to support it from either the inside or outside with a piece of foam that I'll build up around. So the wedge is done in the hand. Okay guys, I was hoping to get this finished within the last 2 days, but we are definitely on day 3. But as you can see, this thing is huge. And I've worked up the veins and bone structure in the back of the hand. Huge knuckles. Let's see if I can get you guys a profile of that. It's kind of a good shot. All of our claws are on. I did support the underside of each one with hot glue, and I will paint that. But I went ahead and went to the tip of the nail and allowed my glue gun to kind of, because it's a high temp glue gun, it heated these nails so much that you can see it kind of curved them, which is what I wanted. So that worked out perfectly. And right now what I'm doing is I'm building up the cuticle bases so that they have kind of a hump to them. You see that's the index finger there. The middle finger needs done, ring finger needs done a little bit more. And the pinky, I think I'm good with the pinky. So right now I'm just building up the details in the hand, or in the palm, excuse me. There we go, you can kind of see that better. And adding a couple more wrinkles down here. I've got some real good thick wrinkles in the palm. And then I added the detail of the wedge. You guys watched me do that yesterday, and I've covered it now in very thin cardboard. So it's super, super hard. So that's not going anywhere. But it's built up of hot glue, just layer and layer and layer of hot glue. And then I added, just right back behind this area, I added a layer of foam and then proceeded to cover that all with hot glue and very thin layers of cardboard. I am going to be closing up the end, except for the hole, or covering the end, I should say, because I don't want it to look so much like a noodle. And that way it's finished, because I decided I was going to anchor this to the stand, but I decided against that because if I'm storing it, I want to be able to store them together in obviously the same tote or crate or whatever. I just think it would be very, very awkward to store this piece like this. So I want to be able to pack it easier and just take them apart. So, but that's how it will go, and it will be finished on the bottom as well. So anyway, that's where we're at. So I think we're pretty much done as far as building up the structure. I've got quite a few new wrinkles here for the wrist, good wrinkles for the hand. Hope you guys can see all of that. There's a real good one that runs across the hand here. Just doesn't come up real well. And I'll do some blending and things when I paint it to make that all stand out better. But the wedge in the hand here. And so one of the things I didn't mention I was going to do, because it was kind of a last minute thought, was putting the detail for the knuckles. And I just did that with hot glue. All the nails are on, and the cuticles have been built up. You guys, I don't ever want to do cuticles again, so I really hope that the girls enjoy this hand claw thing, because cuticles are literally super hard to make them look anything remotely close to natural. So I'm just glad that this didn't have to actually be a human hand, because there's no way. I did adhere, for anybody that's curious, I adhered the nails with Gorilla Glue Super Glue and hot glue. So I would brush the glue on, and then I would hot glue it. And this, not advertising, but for anybody really truly interested in doing the project, it's just a brush on glue. It goes on like a nail polish. And I would brush it onto the nail, and then I would brush it onto the finger. And then I would put that on, hold it in place for about 15 to 20 seconds. And then I would go along the back edge, and you really want to be careful with a high temp glue gun, because it does tend to want to melt everything it touches. So, but I would just put a small bit on the back end to kind of hold that in place till it dried. And while that was happening, once this little bit of hot glue that I put here was dry, I would turn it over and begin to fill in the nail itself so that it was one solid piece with the hand, so that they won't come off or pop off. And all of that will get faded in and won't be noticeable. Plus, when the hand is facing you, you only see the top part of the claw, not the underside. So, but I will go in with like a black or a really dark charcoal gray and fill that in. It's not identical to the Hand of Glory in Harry Potter, but it is very close. I wanted to do kind of my own thing and have fun with it too. So, but so far the girls seem thoroughly impressed. And as you can see, it's huge. So it'll be a fun piece to display. And again, super, super, super solid. So before I start tissuing, which is my next and final step before paint, I'm gonna go back and figure out how I want to cover this. So I'm gonna time lapse this real quick, let you guys watch me close that up. Because again, like I said, I don't want to store these two pieces as one. They're gonna be easier to store separately. And because that was one, they're a very awkward shape. So I'm not gonna mount it to the base. Another thing I want to do before I start tissuing the hand, because that'll take me a little bit, is we're going to go ahead and get wax on this so you guys can see how that's going to pop once we get the wax on there. I like the matte finish, but I kind of want it to have that elegant touch. Everything that I do in our decor kind of has a little bit of elegance to it, and so I want to put the finishing touches on that. Plus, like I told you guys, it has the chalk paint in it, so it could scuff onto things, and I don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and wax it. Then we're going to close this up, like I said, and we're on to tissue. So it's completely done as far as the structure of it. I closed the bottom in. I did want to show you guys, after I waxed this, it had a really pretty shine to it now. You have to buff when you wax, you want to buff it. But now it has like a really pretty sheen to it. And if you don't buff, then you won't get that. So the more you buff, the shinier it gets. But I did, like I said earlier, I did want to keep that matte finish, but I did want to buff that wax. And just so it'll protect it a little bit better and get it in all the grooves and crevices and everything. And I did the bottom so that if I sit it on any surface, it won't transfer the black. So, and it has a little bit of a sheen. So I think it came out really pretty. I love that you can see all the wood grain in it. So that's that. So now we're gonna get this covered. And what I'm using are birthday napkins from a few years back. So it is a 2-ply napkin. And since the colors are gonna be really dark on the hand, I'm not worried about the fact that it's purple. But I'm just separating the plies. And then, yeah, now I have 2 really large pieces of tissue that I can shred. So okay guys, it's done as far as the tissue and the base. Still drying. That'll dry clear. I just finished up with the pinky. And so as soon as this dries, it'll be time to paint it.
As far as the verdict so far, the girls are thoroughly impressed and they've had a lot of fun playing with it. Oh, sorry. Out of, can I have the Mod Podge, please? Thank you.
They take nothing seriously.
Can I have my scissors, please? I don't feel like that's real safe there, but thank you so very much. Can I have my ruler, please? Thank you. Can I have my paintbrush, please? Thank you so much. That's, thank you. Can't take you anywhere.
That's gonna happen. Mom's gonna be working. All of a sudden, she's gonna hear a voice. It's gonna be the hand talking to us.
Can you put that back, please? Can you let go, please? Give it to me.